back, y'all. Good morning, y'all. Okay. We back. Took a little longer. I had to find some keys to give my son before he left. Oh, phooey. I got to change my battery. Doing too much. Give me a second, y'all. Okay. This is what happened when you the camera guy, the light guy, the producer guy, the content guy, and the person on the camera. This is what happened. You do too much. All right, so let's jump in. We are on page 91. This is the book we're in, the ABCs of Success. If you need a book, you go to my website, jomocousins.com. And if you want to follow along, if you don't have time and you may be rewatching this, go to Jomo Prayer YouTube and you can watch this. They're all cataloged. Okay, so today's title, You Reap What You Sow. You reap what you sow. This chapter, we're talking about respect. I tell people all the time, if you sow disrespect, you're going to reap disrespect. These are universal principles and universal laws. So we have to be mindful of how we treat people because it's coming back to you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together. Luke 6:38 says, give, and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and runneth over, shall men pour into your bosom. So good, bad, different, happy, sad, money, seed, friendship, whatever you sow will come back to you in a greater measure. So when you sow disrespect, disrespect is coming back to you in a greater measure. Galatians 6 says this. Galatians 6:7 says this. Do not be misled. Galatians 6:6. Galatians 6:7. Do not be misled. You cannot mock the justice of God. You will always harvest what you plant. You will always harvest what you plant. Those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature will harvest decay and death from that sinful nature. But those who live to please the Spirit will harvest everlasting life from the Spirit. So let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, you will reap a harvest of blessings if you don't give up. Therefore, whenever you have an opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially those for the family of faith. Okay, so you reap what you sow. Let's jump in. Here's a story. We're on page 91. Jackie Robinson said this, the great baseball player. I'm not concerned with your liking or disliking me. All I ask is that you respect me as a human being. Now, obviously, when Jesse Jackson was speaking, he was speaking at a time of racial turmoil and racial unrest in our country. And he's like, listen, you don't have to like me, but you're going to respect me. I'm with that one right there. You ain't going to like me, but you not. Ooh, I don't do well with disrespect. I try to do better, but it just doesn't work. Anyway, here's a good story, funny story. I read a great story of a few men who were in a foreign land for extended stay. As part of their stay, the company provided them a home to stay and a cook to help. The men got bored in their downtime and started playing practical jokes on each other. The practical jokes then turned to the cook. They would booby trap doors with water buckets and would fall on his head. They would make jokes about his accent. They would lock him out at times, all in the name of fun. The cook just went along knowing his job was to serve them and he needed the money. The time eventually came for the men to go home. They would no longer have the opportunity to make a joke out of the cook. They wanted to apologize, and they did. The cook responded with his own apology. for spitting in their food every time they played a joke on him. Spit in their food every time they played a joke. We may not know how the harvest is going to come back, but it's going to come back. You got to be very careful how you treat people, especially people who cook your food. Let me tell you. Nothing worse than going out with a person who complain about the food, because you understand, you don't know what happened between the food getting to your table and the cook preparing it. You don't know. So if you decide you want to be a hardball in a restaurant, just understand, we're dealing with humans, okay? We don't know what kind of day he or she had. And you going to try to, I understand that some food is not done right. I understand all that. But be mindful how you treat these people, because you just don't know. I don't mess around people with my food. That's why I don't order too many things that are not a known entity to me, and I figure you can't mess it up, or there's something I know that not gonna hurt me. I'm telling you, I think about all that. Oh, glory. All right. The moral of the story is that everyone deserves respect, and we have a moral obligation to give it. Though the men believed they were being funny, the cook received it as disrespect. As a result, he disrespected them on a different level. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I keep saying it over and over again because it's critical. It doesn't matter your station in life. You give respect. We respect people because they are a reflection of God. And God says to honor. So our whole goal to honor people is to respect them to the best of our ability. Now, I understand not everyone is doing things in a respectful manner. We had a great event over the weekend, Friends and Family Day, and I had hundreds upon hundreds of people there. And it was a wonderful time in the Lord. But I was frustrated with some people who worked, let me say that, during the week. We had some challenges with the entity that we were working with, and I felt it wasn't done the way it should be, and I wanted to go have a conversation about how I felt, but God said, Jomo, you're not in the right spirit to talk to them right now. One thing I've learned, that oftentimes when we are disrespectful, we may not be in the right place emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, when we feed out disrespect. So sometimes you have to give yourself a pause and say, you know what, I'm not in the right headspace right now to confront somebody. Oftentimes we confront people when we're in a bad place, and that is not going to work out. The Bible says a fire does not put out fire. So if a person is being disrespectful to you, you being disrespectful to them is not going to fix your problem. The Bible also says this: don't throw your pearls on swine. Now, I'm not calling anybody a pig. My point to you is, don't waste your time with someone who is not postured to listen. After you have made your point one or two times and you see the person is not receiving or trying to receive or in a position to receive, you may have to say, you know what? You got it. You got it. I'm going to give this to the Lord. Because see, when you try to debate with a person that has foolish characteristics, you're wasting your time because they cannot receive. The Bible says a rod is for the back of a fool, meaning a fool will not learn through words, they will learn through beatings. My father would say it this way: you listen or you feel. And too many times people go through life feeling their way versus listening. You got to listen. You never learn anything new from yourself because everything you know, you know. It's better to be quiet and hear and listen and show respect and show honor. But we're in such a challenging time right now that there's very little honor, very little respect. So obviously we don't control the world, but we control our individual actions. So if there's someone in authority, give respect. You don't have to agree with everything they do, but you respect the office. Government, offices, kingdoms are all structures that God created so that we can flow in an orderly fashion. The challenge is there's always those who want to rebel against authority. But as the Bible says, when Samuel was the prophet and the people said, give us a king, give us a king. And Samuel was disappointed that they would not receive God as their king. And God said to Samuel, Samuel, don't be discouraged. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting me. Now let them know, since they want a king, the king's going to be hard on them. The king's going to take their children and put them to work. The king's going to tax them. And Samuel went and told them all the things the kings would do to them. And they said, no, we want a king. We want to be like everybody else. So they got what they got. My friends, honor God, honor people, love people, respect people. That's the only way it's going to flow properly in life. And even when people don't respect you back, you are responsible for your response. You can't control what they say. You can't control what they do, but you can control you. And one day, we're all going to stand before God on how we treat each other. Jesus said this, they shall know you by how you love. They shall know you by how you love. 1 John 4:8 says, for God is love. And those who do not love do not know God. So today, your assignment, walk in love, respect people, honor people, and watch what God does. Trust God. All right. I love you. God bless you. Have a great day. God bless. Godspeed. Bye-bye, everybody. Walk in love. Remember, respect people.